we're here with Jesse Chapman of CAPA Beaufort to talk about a really exciting event coming up. It's a fun Halloween event that's for a really good cause. And Jesse, why don't you tell us a little more about that?
So we're talking about the Ghost Tours, which is to benefit the Child Abuse Prevention Association, also known as CAPA.
So how long have the Ghost Tours been going on in Beaufort?
They've been going on about 30 years. The history of it was people came to the director of CAPA, which was Susan Cato, and they were telling her some ghost stories, and they had all these different ideas, and it's been history ever since.
So before we get too into this, now what is CAPA for people who don't know?
So we're the Child Abuse Prevention Association, and we have a shelter for children who've been abused and neglected to come and live. Typically, right now it's teens, but we also have outreach programs in the schools, and we help with foster families, foster parenting, and then we also do, we have our thrift store, Kappa's Closet. So we're a local nonprofit.
Okay, so really a lot of good stuff y'all are doing in the
Yes.
community. So for an event like this, how many people does it take to put on the Ghost Tours?
So nightly, we're about 60 to 80 people. That doesn't include the horses. There's about 4 horses that help us each night. And then like for the whole event, it's usually about 200 volunteers.
So what can someone expect if they come on to the Ghost Tour?
So we have carriage and walking tours, and they are historic ghost stories that are for entertainment purposes. And so basically it's a guided tour. Our storytellers are volunteers, and they tell ghost stories, and then people may or may not see visions while they're on the tours.
So I guess, for someone like me who's not the biggest haunted house person, how scary is this? What do y'all have, maybe like an age recommendation for this?
So it is actually very family friendly. Great question. And it is not like a haunted house. There may be a few jump scares, but because this is like historically based on ghost stories from our community, it's not like gory and chainsaw massacre type of thing. It's more like actual ghost stories that people have learned from our very historic area.
Now, what's kind of the difference, just besides the transportation, of the walking and the carriage tour?
Some people say walking's scarier because they're closer to the ground. But I have had people say that both are just as good. The biggest difference is where they start. The carriage tours start in the marina parking lot, and the walking tours start down by the Cannon Park. So walking tours do not get the Bay Street area because the walking tours don't cross Carteret. They just stay in the Point area.
Okay, and so now what is the cost of the tours?
So it's $30 for carriages, and for children 3 to 11, it's $20, and then walking tours $20 for all.
What about children under 3?
They're free.
That's great.
Great question.
Let's see. Location. All right, so how can people book a tour? Because I imagine these are very popular and you're going to want to go ahead and do that in
Yes.
advance.
So it's very important to book ahead of time. There are walk-ups available, but we're in our last weekend, and the last weekend of the tour is always super booked. So you can go to capabeaufort.org, or you can call 843-52-GHOST, which is 524-4678.
And definitely something you're going to want to do if you want to do this. Is there anything else this fall that we can do to help out with CAPA, that people, other ways we can donate or contribute?
Always. We're always looking for things, and we start our Christmas Wish coming up in November. So be looking for trees around the community, and if you ever want to volunteer, you can also go to that website, and there's a link to volunteer.
So now, who all are the sponsors for this tour?
So our big sponsor is the Beaufort Charities. They've been helping us for a few years now, and then of course we have Alpha Graphics, who helps with all our design and marketing, and then a lot of the local restaurants, downtown Beaufort restaurants and vendors help us, and then of course we partner with the carriage company Southern Rose, and we can't do it without the community support. So
that sounds great. We all really are doing a lot of good in the community, and this sounds like a very exciting event. I've heard so much about it and look forward to getting to finally see it this year. So
yes, sir.
Thank you for stopping by,
Thank you.
and we really appreciate having you come through.
Thank you.